What's going on, everyone? In this episode we're going to be mounting a custom bull bar and making some sliders for my Barra T4580. Myself and Lawrence from LCS 4x4 have been really busy the last few months designing, building and testing bull bars to suit 4580s and straight 45s as well. So I can't wait to show you what we've been up to. Let's get into the build log now. LCS high mount bull bar install. So as you know, on the 4580 we've flipped this front cross member and moved it back a little bit. So we're actually going to trim down the rails here. We'll figure it all out. I've sort of waited until I've got a high mount on there so I can mock it all up and get the length right. So we'll trim back the rails and then put some crush tubes in, and it'll be able to be removed, but it'll also be solid with a crush tube. So we're going to go ahead and install it now. So I picked up a worn high mount. It is in pieces at the moment. So it comes with a long barrel, which is plus 100mm longer. And yeah, we have to replace it with a standard one to fit the bar. So just pulled it all apart. Realistically, I should be rebuilding it while I'm here. So I'll probably order a bearing kit and do that. Probably not on camera because, again, no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, I'll sort it all out and give it a fresh lick of paint. So there we have the LCS high mount 4580 bar installed. So just to give you an idea of what's gone into this installation, if you couldn't tell from the time lapse, we've got 4 bolts through each side. So these rear 2 are crush tubes. So there's 4 crush tubes in all, which should be plenty strong enough to recover off. We've also got vertical ones that go all the way through the rail. You can see the nut on the underside there. So an extra 2 just for good measure. On the high mount bars, we've got 1 recovery point on one side. The fair lead comes through the middle here, obviously, and then we're going to put the plate on this side here. In case you're wondering why I chose an old, clapped out, worn high mount instead of a new low mount winch, I guess there's 2 reasons, and that's because of the winch speed. These are a lot faster than a lot of the low mounts. The other thing is they don't have as many issues overheating, and they sort of have the ability to go all day. So the old high mount with modifications and with a recondition should do me pretty well. I've also actually cut the chassis rails 75mm. So if you have a look from the side, have a look at that approach angle. So pretty good. We should be able to get up most stuff with an approach angle like that. So I'm really stoked. And that's just sort of the nature of the 4580s, you know, with the cab all the way back and the shorter rails. So I didn't build or paint this particular bar. It was all done for me, but I do the CAD for LCS 4x4, so I'm extremely familiar with the design. I guess it's something that Laurie and I have been working on together. So we've actually been working on the same design to suit a low mount winch and to suit a 45 series as well. And I'm going to go ahead and show you all that right now. So these are the FJ45 low mount bull bars that me and Laurie have designed from LCS 4x4. So we've been working on these for a while now, and I guess we want something really functional for the tracks. And we want it to look cool and then obviously also be strong enough to winch off. So we've got these 2 beefy recovery points at the front, which are chassis mounted. I will show you the detail in a second. And then we've got the winch on top, and it's fully braced underneath, so it's definitely strong enough to winch off. So yeah, we're really stoked with this design. We've been working on it for months, and yeah, we can't wait to see it out on the track. So this is fitted up to Shannon from LCS 4x4's FJ45, and yeah, he's about to paint it. Yeah, this is the first one, and we're really stoked with it. So this is our low mount design for a 4580. So some of the advantages of this bar in comparison to the high mount bar is there's 2 recovery points, and we're able to do this because we can put the plate in the middle and the fair lead's going to go up here. So that, yeah, and the winch, same as the 45 design you saw, the winch would go up in here. So I guess some of the advantages of running a bar like this is you can shorten the chassis significantly, and then your approach angle increases, which is always good for wheeling. So I guess it's a very similar. We've tried to keep the same shape as the high mount design, but yeah, it's just to suit a low mount winch, and it's a standard hole pattern for low mount winches. We're looking at the underside of the low mount bar right now, and you can see that I've used the keyway method to key everything in, and that's just to make it easy for us to manufacture. So that's a method I've been sort of using through my whole build. So this is the brace I was referring to earlier, and it's a nice triangular brace which is going to help load distribution throughout the whole bar and make it stronger when you're recovering off it and stuff like that. If you're a regular to my channel, it probably comes as no surprise at all that all these bars have been designed in CAD, laser cut, CNC folded, and then welded together. Both the high mount and low mount versions of these bars to suit 40 series and 4580s are available for purchase through LCS 4x4. Get in contact with Laurie or drop me a DM and I'll be able to help you out as well. We've actually been testing these bars on the tracks, and you may have noticed last week in that YouTube short that I put up that both the cars have various iterations of the bar, and we've been putting them through their paces. So we're onto the sliders today. I've got some pre-bent bits that I did with Lawrence, so thanks heaps Lawrence for helping me out with that. You've seen the bender, you know how it works, so I did it all off camera. This is where we're at. I've just currently tacked these 2 pieces of blue bar into the chassis. I want my slider to be completely flush with the cab here, and I'm going to do some notches or a notch in the cab so then it can sit up as high as possible, which will be really good for for clearance in the middle. So I guess something that I've just realized is that my tray mount gets in the way, this little wing here. We're mounting these sliders with the plates. You've seen them before. This is how I mounted the guards. So I've got a tapped one here and a clearance one here. So the clearance one is going to be slider side. That's going to be welded to the chassis. So the first job is to grind down that little wing. The tray mount should be all right without it, and I'll do some more welding on the inside to compensate. First one all tacked up. So yeah, pretty happy with this actually. So I just got to rinse and repeat on the other side. So I've just got the original side step and I'm just making sure that it runs true to that. And then, yeah, I guess that's how I've sort of done it. It is inset a little bit from the edge of the guards, as you can see. And yeah, I guess the thought behind this back one was to try and make it flush with that. So it looks cool. And then, yeah, it's all bolted up here as well. So sort of where we're at. Obviously, it's got to have some full passes, and I've got to do the other side as well. Just capping the ends of these, so I use a TIG so I didn't have to remove as much material with a grinder. So I sort of alternate between the two depending on whether I have to add a lot of material or not. So this one's good to put back on the car. Finished up with the sliders. These should be great off-road and act as a bit of a step to get in the car because the cab is actually quite high up now. I guess these are 32 NB, so quite thick gauge, heavy duty stuff, which should be nice and strong. And then these are MIG welded, so I have been using my MIG more and more, and I am getting better at it, improving, but still not amazing. But that's all right. I think for something like this, they're going to hold. So I've had a really long think about what I'm going to do for the tops of these. I was thinking checker plate at one point or a dimple die plate, but I think I'm actually just going to leave them exposed like that and then put some grip tape on the top. So I'll paint them black in Valspar, and then grip tape on the top. I actually quite like a bit of the tube work exposed. I've had to cover the guards for practical and safety reasons, so I think I might just leave the sliders exposed. I quite like them. So I'm loving the look of the bar at the moment and loving the look of the whole car. The whole thing's pretty much back together, and we're going forwards instead of backwards, so it feels good. That's all for this episode, guys. Let me know what you think of the LCS bull bar in the comments. Just quickly, let's have a look at the plan for the rest of the build. So there's still a few big jobs left before I rip this thing down for paint. I've still got to do the fuel system, the patrol steering box and transfer, an interior, mount all the accessories, and a whole heap of little jobs. So if you like this content, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Cheers, guys.